Hi everyone, this is Sushant from College Dunya, and today we have with us Dr. Vibhuti Sachdev, who is Professor and Dean at Sushant School of Art and Architecture, Gurgaon. So those of you who don't know, Dr. Vibhuti Sachdev is an authority on Vastuvidya, and she has worked extensively on the city of Jaipur, focusing on its architecture and craft traditions. Out of the 4 books she has written, she is co-author of 2 books on the city, namely Building Jaipur and Jaipur City Palace. Hello, Dr. Vibhuti.
Hi, Sushant.
Thank you so much for giving us your time today.
A pleasure.
Okay. So, Dr. Vibhuti, you have held key positions at educational institutes throughout your professional career. What were the key factors that keep you connected with the education sector?
So, as you just mentioned, that I graduated from SPA in 1989, and so I plunged myself into a bit of practice. But also, I was a very keen researcher. I wanted to dig deeper into our indigenous knowledge systems, and that came from really family values, because my mother is a Sanskritist and my grandfather was an acharya. So, my grandfather, my nana always used to say, how can you be an architect if you don't know what all these, art texts say? So I was forever teased by him. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to spend some time doing research and, get to the bottom of this Vastuvidya. So, and so I, applied for a PhD. I got a Felix Scholarship to go to, so as to study for my PhD, which was very good, because it was quite life-changing, because you get 3 years of fully funded research, and that's how then once you've done your PhD, as a professional, you're always going to write 2 books, because you have to be an academic as well as a practicing architect. So I thought, I drifted towards education as a result, and because I like sharing knowledge, and so I'm a teacher at heart, and I also like building knowledge, which is why I go to research. So it was an obvious choice for me, and so I taught in University of Sussex, and I was there for 4 years in a research project, and then as a full-time lecturer, and then I moved to India in 2004 and joined Sushant in 2015. After I'd done this conservation work as well in Jal Mahal. So I've been writing, 2 books, but I think I'm very much anchored in learning about traditional knowledge systems, traditional wisdom, and how, we apply it today, and what is our perception through modernist eyes of our past. And that is what interests me, really. So it was a natural choice.
All right, great. The education system in India and other foreign countries are structured very differently. So in your experience, what can an inbound student gain from studying here in your university?
Sushant, I think it is not structured differently, in the sense that we feel we are always behind the Western system and we are chasing their structure. And we are yet to develop our own structure, which is what we should aim at, really. I mean, eventually. We forget that we are one of the oldest civilizations of the world. We have a huge resource with us of thousands of years of history and civilization and culture. What we also have is because of that, we have our living traditions which are alive today, which the West has almost lost, in terms of their ancient traditions, which we still see, through our ancient cities, which are still alive today. And that's a huge advantage, and the other advantage we have is a thriving diversity of culture, which, of course, is also within this geographical diversity, this this contextual diversity, which we have in this country, which we are able to nurture for thousands of years. So India, as a place for education for the youth, has huge advantage. We've only even barely started kind of addressing and really making use of that. And because we've been busy chasing the Western model. And I think now, I think gradually we are sort of waking up to the India advantage, and hopefully we will steer our attention and effort towards creating our own models.
That was very insightful. So when you first came to Sushant University, what's your vision for the university? Like, has it evolved over time? And how far are you along in implementing that vision?
So I joined Sushant School of Art and Architecture, which was established in 1989. So it was an old school. I was joining a huge legacy as well. But when I joined at that point, the School of Architecture was very weak in its systems. And I became the dean in 2016 end. And so, I had to begin with actually really sorting out the systems of the school, getting the matrices right, getting the coordination roles right, getting the, I spent hours with the faculty, just going through lesson plans, how to make a lesson plan, how to align the learning outcomes with assessment and assignments. And that is really craft work. And you have to kind of do that in order to get clarity on how you're teaching, how you're learning, and how the students are going to learn. So those measures of accountability, of tracking systems of learning is what I spent about, a couple of years just establishing in the school. And after that, I felt that the school really required, it has a strong B.Arch program, but it had only one postgraduate program. So I introduced 3 more postgraduate programs to kind of make that body of higher learning stronger. And also we have a very robust doctoral program. So you see, we have the whole set of undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctoral studies, which kind of make the student experience very enriching because, at all levels they share experiences of learning. And also what I've been working on recently is to kind of create an ecosystem, a multidisciplinary ecosystem for the creative fields, because this is where, architects also work when they graduate. They work with designers and they work with planners, and to kind of expose the students right from the start to what it is, what planners do, what designers do is very important, I think. So we cross-bridge a lot of courses across planning and design schools. So this is a kind of a much more broader, wider experience that the students have. And yes, I am working towards, formalizing this creative cluster, and very much, part of my vision, which I take tiny steps to walk towards.
So what are some of the biggest challenges you see, like both for higher education in general and specifically Sushant University?
So, challenges are always good because they keep you on your toes and they keep you, innovating. Because if you come across a scenario where it is not challenging, is an indication that you may perhaps be stagnating. So I think some of the challenges are external, and many challenges are internally driven, in the sense that we want to always go to the next level of what international education is. We see ourselves on a par with the best schools of architecture in the world. We work very closely with them. And, if you ask any good school of architecture in the world to name one in India, they would, I'm positive, they would, name Sushant as one of the best schools of architecture in India. And I think the challenges of higher education are being faced globally as everybody feels, has to focus on the relevance of education. What is the relevance? What is the applicability? And of course, the rapid digitization has, in a way, made us confront that question much more clearly than it has ever before. And students, of course, would want answers to why they are studying what they're studying, and how are they studying what they're studying, and for what are they studying what they're studying. So why, what, and how are three basic questions that they would ask of anything they do. And I think relevance has also broadened in the sense that we need to kind of think of ways of instilling them in them, the basic human values, which was actually done through communities. I've grown up, my age, people have grown up in families and communities, in neighborhoods where we would roam freely, and much of our learning would happen there on the ground. And now, now that has shrunk, that, community space has shrunk. It's not really shrunk. Maybe it has been overtaken by different kinds of community. Now you have social media communities, you have digital communities. Those are also very active communities. And, these online gaming scenarios is also community living, because, you learn a lot of ethics, a lot of values while playing a game online with your friends. And so these are new communities through which I think we can kind of, begin to, instill deeper civilizational values, which we are able to kind of think of the long term rather than the short term. And you have to kind of also think, culturally we are very different from the West. We are one of the countries, we believe in soul, we believe in, 7 lives, 9 lives, who knows. And so every action of ours, we think differently, because we think in a very long term, and we think about karma, and we think about, how the implications it has for, everything around it. So I think those are the things that that once they are kind of enmeshed within higher education, it will be it will be very satisfying. And also I think higher education is in that age bracket from 18 to 23, where for an architecture, it's about becoming an architect, but it's also about self-discovery. It's also about being a good, responsible citizen of this country. It's not just getting a degree. It's also, the students are standing on the threshold of adulthood. So it's a very, 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 very crucial period for any young person. So we need to kind of take a holistic, and actually, thankfully, architecture is a discipline that gives you that, broad, holistic education, not just to be an architect, but to be a sensitive human being who cares for the environment. I mean, that's what we are facing at the moment, is the most crucial aspect. So, yeah.
Do you have any extra, special activities or programs to enhance the skills of the student, or, expose them to the real world challenges?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I have to ask you to come to the campus to, really feel the buzz of the students. And the students are not here, sadly, also because we are, campus is looking very barren because of the, situation we're all facing. But, when you come to Sushant, you will see that, there are students dancing, there are students playing music, there's theater going on, students debating in the chai shop as they do, and then arguing with their faculty, after the class. So a lot of learning happens outside the studio also. And we, through our infrastructure, through our facilities, we make sure that there are enough interactive possibilities within the college where, students can interact and talk and come up with, those creative ideas that happen. So we have a lot of clubs, societies, as they call them. We have a dance society, we have a drama society, we have a publication society, we have a photography society. And also what we do is, we in the university run something called soft skills, which students take advantage of, and they sign up for soft skill courses. We also, use Gurgaon as a living lab. So we do a lot of city interventions, going out and reaching out to communities, working in identifying and working with administrative authorities in the city. So there is a lot of, stuff outside of the, the set curriculum that we do. And that, of course, is always enriching and joyful. as well.
Okay, so you have done your PhD from University of London, and you specialize in Vastu Vidya. So do you plan on to introducing Vastu Vidya at Sushant University?
Yes, very much. I mean, you have to see what Vastu Vidya is, firstly. I mean, Vastu Vidya I would broadly classify as traditional knowledge system, and which is not just, within the Hindu domain. It's also, the Mughal domain, and, later on. And today we're producing knowledge systems. And, so we include heritage as a, very strong, it's a very strong emphasis in our curriculum. We tell our students that, no land is flat. Every piece of land has layers of history, layers of communities, which we have to respect and we have to take forward. You can't erase the land and say, okay, I'm going to just build what I want to build. You can't do that anymore. You shouldn't do that. It's not right. And also, every action of theirs, design action, has a context of community, of culture, of. So you asked about, Vastu Vidya is all of that. Vastu Vidya is knowledge of consecrated space. Vidya is knowledge. Vastu is a consecrated space. So any design space is that. And yes, I've worked with a lot of, texts, and I've worked on Jaipur a lot in order to see how Vastu Vidya was, applied in the pre-modern times. And I include that in all my teaching. I was running an elective on Vastu Vidya, because also all of us should know what our traditional systems are, whether it's about lunar months, about the festival calendar, about, the five senses, how they interact with, our cuisine, for example. So it's all interconnected, So, and also we have a module of traditional building materials in the curriculum. So so I'm kind of embedding it in all sorts of ways without, calling it Vastu Vidya, because once you call it Vastu Vidya, then people think, where should I place my jewelry in the house, so that it doesn't get stolen. Vastu Vidya is not that. Vastu Vidya is the entire system of architecture. It's not just a way of, curing your urban. It's not an urban quick fix, So if you're not happy, get a Vastu person around, and he will sort out your happiness. That's a very reduced version of what, this ancient traditional knowledge system is.
Any suggestions you would like to give our current youth and the aspiring architecture students?
So what I would say to the architecture students that, architecture is not without reason known as a noble profession. Because, it like teaching is, like architecture is, your core concern is and should be about the well-being of other people. That is your profession. You have to ensure well-being of other people. So it's very tricky because, you have to be in other people's shoes all the time. You have to think of the planet. You have to think of the environment. You have to think about how much your buildings are guzzling in terms of energy. Are you recycling? Are you hurting the environment in any way? So I would say to the students, believe in your values that your parents, that your grandparents have instilled on you. Those are the values. Our cultural values, our social values are the ones that are going to take you a long way. There are learnings that come from those cultural values. You should apply in everything you do. For example, don't be greedy, don't be, run after money all the time. I know it sounds silly, but those are good values because they help you see beyond short-term gains. So don't get angry. Those basic values. And also, I would say, it's very relevant in the current times also to focus on being sensitive to other people. I think that's very important. Be sensitive, hear other people's perspectives, analyze why the other person is saying what he's saying. Don't be just quick to judge. And these are the things that we teach even in our studio, because all these things actually result in good design. they somewhere lead you to better design decisions. And I think we must safeguard and nurture the biggest asset we have, which is diversity in this country. We must safeguard it, we must nurture it, we must promote it. Any difference of opinion, culture, thought, we must kind of, have room to nurture and promote. And this multiplicity of solutions is what is a great asset to a country, which actually in the West, many of these minor culture, major culture, there's a homogenized living, as everything is kind of same. But we are blessed with diversity. We are blessed with, variety. And we must safeguard it, nurture it, and encourage it. And I think that, and also I think make room for, wisdom that older people give you. I think that patience one must, it's everything is so busy these days with social media, with digital world, that we don't pause and reflect and think of what we are absorbing. So we just, so don't be passive, absorbers of information. See where it's coming from, and, whether it's in your good interest or not, analyze things. Be critical thinkers. This is what also we teach our students from first semester, first year, to kind of unpack things, analyze, question all the time. If you've learned how to question things, half your learning is done. You have to just question everything, and then, and also, decide, all of your design decisions should not harm anything. That should be at the core of your design, that it should not harm any living being, any non-living being. I don't know what that means, but it should only add to the life energy and not reduce it. So those are some of the things that I would tell the student.
Great. So that was a very insightful session on thoughts on education and how you want to shape, your architecture program at Sushant School of Architecture and Arts. And it was wonderful talking to you. And once again, thank you so much for taking out your precious time for us.
Thank you, Sushant, for having me. And I would welcome you to come to campus whenever you can and have time. And when we open up.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay.